Okay. My name is Sydney Connors. I am CEO of Manifesto Productions and Manifesto Creative and PR Agency. Our focus is bridging the gaps between the already established artists and the artists that are working to establish themselves. We also have a focus on creating opportunity and teaching artist development to up and coming and developing artists. One of the last project I did was Dream Girls on Clubhouse. I executive produced and directed Dream Girls on the Clubhouse app with my best friend Brandon. And we had forecasts and a bunch of influencers and stuff. And we had a lot of write-ups for that. And then my next project is Manifesto, which is a 3-day BIPOC focused music and artist development festival. And that's going to be in Atlanta at Mabel House Amphitheater at the moment. But we know with the COVID and everything going on, we are being forced to kind of make it more virtual than live this year because we want to cater to the fact that people are in the house and don't want to be around a bunch of people. But this festival is what we are focused on right now. And my business is focused on is getting artists for this festival. So we started an 8-city tour. And on this 8-city tour, we are finding the best independent and up and coming artists, poets, R&B, all types of genres that can headline the festival this October with us and festivals in the future. Next year's festivals are going to be in Cleveland and LA. And I'll probably bring it back to Atlanta for a second year as well. So this is just year one. But yeah, that's pretty much about what I do. Production and directing and event curation. I've been in business for since 2017 as long as I've been doing event curation. I used to work for Shaker Heights High School in the Sankofa program. I did that from 2012 until last year when I lost it when COVID happened. But that is where I got my theater and directing and all of that experience from. But I officially made Manifesto a business. It's been a year. So my target audience I'm trying to serve is mostly, I'm all age ranges, but people who are 21 to, I'm also catering to a lot of people who are in their 50s and older as well, because the first day of the award of the fest is an award show, and the award show is called the Pantheon Awards. And at this award show, we'll be honoring Shirley Murdoch. We'll also be honoring some other women who are iconic in the music industry. Angie Stone is one that I'm after currently. Well, we've spoken, but I'm currently working on booking her, as well as Regina Bell. So people like that is going to bring in the demographic of people who are over 50, et cetera. But I'm also catering to newer artists and younger, like the millennials. I'm 29. So I'm catering to people who are also under 40, who are in the industry for a while, have been, and just haven't got their break and trying to figure out how to develop as an artist. But I'm also reaching those people who are just getting into college or coming out of college or going into their career, and they're trying to figure out how to be better in their career. Because a lot of artists especially don't have artist development or a resource to artist development. So I wanted to create that for artists. Dream Girls. Doing that project because I did it for free. I did it on the strength of, I knew it was a lot of artists like myself who were at home with nothing to do. We couldn't work. We couldn't be in a theater. And I had seen it was other like smaller scale plays going on the app. And then there was a girl named Noelle did Lion King on the app for Christmas. And so I wanted to kind of just make it bigger and create more opportunity. And then we did the auditions. And when my best friend and I spoke about auditions, we realized that a lot of Black people don't even know how auditions work. because a lot of us don't even get the opportunity to go to New York or Atlanta's or LA's to audition for things. So we were like, well, let's put it on this app because there's thousands of people on here who are at home in these spaces and could get this opportunity. So we did that, and we ended up pretty much breaking the app, having thousands and thousands of people going on Twitter viral and all types of things. So that was the biggest impact. And also just creating this family atmosphere with people that I didn't even think I'd ever speak to or work with ever in my life. But just meeting those people and creating that network and that atmosphere of just like a genuine friendship because we all worked together during a pandemic was probably my biggest impact for me. One action that I've taken is giving artists a space to perform. Also, I have given out knowledge to a lot of people on just, especially Black people, on how to curate and stream and all the things that I learned from audio work and where the innovation is happening right now in audio and in visual, virtual, and things like that. And so I think that my biggest thing is contributing and letting, especially people my age, know that it's a shift right now and streaming is coming about and there's lots and lots of revenue and lots of opportunity in audio and streaming. So those are my two things. The biggest challenge is funding. I honestly don't have really any other challenge but funding. I think even doing Dreamgirls, when I did that, it was a bit of a challenge with funding. Luckily, it was such a prestigious play already. People already know what that is. And it was a lot of people who just donated just off the strength. That's how we were able to get people their equipment and things. But when it comes to this festival, I think because people don't really know yet with everything just opening back up and what we would be able to do. And it's virtual. So that's another thing, like, adding the virtual aspect. Some people want to do it, but don't know. So I've been running into this real slow funding type thing. It's not easy for Black women or Black people to get loans or things like that. So that has been my biggest issue, is just trying to fund a lot of this. I have a lot of opportunity and a lot of network, and I can have access to almost anything that I want. It just really comes down to having that money to get it once I am there. So that's been kind of one of the only discouraging, quote unquote, things. But I've really just, the last 2-3 days, I've been kind of sleepless, just doing sponsorship stuff and just putting in the, feet to the pavement. That's just I feel like that's the difference sometimes as a Black creative, is we got to go a little harder to get some of the funding that we're trying to get. My focus for my business right now is establishing the brand. Like, the brand is already known in Cleveland and somewhat, people know somewhat in Atlanta, but I really want to establish it to where in the next year or 5, people are talking about Manifesto as, this is the creative and PR agency that people go through to do this, or this is, and I want to be known for that in more than just Cleveland or Atlanta or LA. I want to be nationwide. So my goal right now is working on growing my network and clientele and creating genuine and long-lasting relationships. Well, the first mistake I made was back in 2017 when I had quit for like a year and a half because I broke even, and I thought that in production you were always supposed to make money, and that's not the truth. Most of the time you're gonna break even, majority of the time. And especially doing events and things like that, unless you get yourself to a point where you're starting to charge more for, you're a prestigious event planner and you're charging a lot for this and that. But a lot of the time you're going to break even. So that's a gem I definitely always give people. I fell and hit my head a lot, especially when it came to just doing an event and going overboard, spending too much, or not noticing, okay, I don't need all this. Like, I could just have the necessities. People will be comfortable. Also, sponsorships. I was never hip to sponsorships. Something that I would give to people, especially doing events or productions, keep your numbers. Always, it's a number game. Know your numbers, know how many people you get in the whatever, especially if it's on Clubhouse or something, whatever, how many people you get in your rooms, how many people you get into your event spaces, how many people look at your Instagram. Like, all those numbers are important, because there are people out there who will give money and they'll just like give it to you as long as you have proof and numbers. So one thing I beat myself up about is not having enough proof from some of my past events, because I didn't know about the number game until I got into this audio world and talking to, people who gave me these gems. And that's pretty much it. I think also, my biggest advice always too is, even when you do fall and make these mistakes, don't give up, because most of the time these mistakes are just lessons, and or they're God protecting you or setting something else up for you, because it just wasn't for you. We will be in Atlanta next weekend for our Manifesto pregame, which is basically our tour event where we're finding more people to perform for the festival this October. Also, just to follow Manifesto Fest, and it's manifesto.fest on IG. And we are looking for vendors. So we're always looking for vendors. And our next city stop is actually Dallas after Atlanta. So any artists or vendors or anybody interested in the next tour stop, that's something else too. Well, what inspires me the most is my children. Just because they give me the inspiration to create a legacy for them. I want to make sure they're able to grow up in better situations than I did. I never had to really want for anything. My family always made sure I was good, but I never got to experience kind of things like Disney World, or going to Broadway, or visiting places like Atlanta and beaches. And I did all of that grown. So I kind of want to create that for them young, so they know what it is and experience those things and have better opportunities. And then another big inspiration is giving the opportunity to especially low income and BIPOC people who just don't have it. I realize my own privilege and the fact that I've experienced so much in so many different cities and so many different opportunities. And I think that a lot of the problems, especially in my own city, have to do with the lack of opportunity. So I want to it inspires me to continue to create that opportunity.